Hello and welcome to another video on activity management. In this video we're going to look at managing exams, from creating exam records in the activity registry to adding configuration in activity manager records, and then managing exams in the student IAM records. Okay, so I've created a new course for this run through called Student Exams. And the key thing to look at here is this is a full year UK course, okay? So it's running over the 2 semesters. Okay, so I'm going to create the activity registry record for that. I've already started this, so I'm just going to open up the existing record. Okay, so we're not going to cover all the basics of activity registry. We're just going to look at the exam side. So if I go into registry detail, so this is my course record, my parent record, and there's one attribute that we can add here that relates to exams, or at least it relates to resit exams potentially. So if I go to attributes here, we've got this UON reassess all for AM course. And this means that if there are 3 assessments, say, and a student fails one of them, they have to resit all 3 assessments. So this is relevant where if we were going to, if there's, say, coursework as assessment for this module, this course, then and we were going to replace that with an exam, then we would need to configure the exam in the registry record. So just to point that one out. Okay, so I've created one exam already, which is down as 50%. So I'm going to create another one now and then run through the config required for that. So I'm going to click on Insert Sibling Item as I'm in the assessment, the exam record at the moment. If I was looking at the course record, I'll click on Insert Child Item. I'm not in. I have to go into correct history. Okay. Nope. Right, let's start again. Okay, so click on Sibling. Okay, so the first thing we have to add in is a content code. This is just a sort of standard code we add to the record. For exams, it's EX and then a number afterwards. So this is the second exam, so I'm going to put a 2 in. Let's close Outlook while we're here. Okay, the content type is exam. So if it's a scheduled exam that's going to be in an exam period, we need to use the content type exam because there's information we can include to support that. My description is exam 2. So this is a free text field now, but we have standard values that we use to name exams, exam 1, exam 2, and exam 3, etc. So I'm going to use exam 2. We've got content notes. So here we can put information that will be shared with the student about the exam. So it could be, what the content is, the style of the exam, if it's multiple choice, etc. Okay, so we've got our results scale, which we know about already, and we've got our pass mark. I'm going to put the weighting in, which is going to be 50 in this case. And we need to go into our attributes tab. So we've got 2 here. We've got Rogo type and UON exam type. We've got 4 values in UON exam type. This has to be populated. Now, the only 2 values we are planning to use at the moment are Rogo and final. So if it's a Rogo exam, select Rogo. Anything else, select final. So I'm going to select Rogo this time. And then we've got Rogo type. So there are different types of Rogo exams, and this linked to those types in Rogo itself. So I'm going to pick one of those, OSCE. Okay, so that's those done. Tick these 3 as part of the standard configuration. Then we come to exam type. Now this is very important. So I've got my example course here is a full year course. Now I've got 2 exams. Now these exams, they could run in the spring semester or they could run in the autumn semester, or they could both run in one of those semesters. We have to attach here, using the exam type, the semester that course, that exam runs in. And this is important when we move further down the chain in the activity management process. So this one I'm going to select is in spring. The first one I selected is in autumn. Okay, I'm going to make the exam length 2 hours, which we need to put in. It's a mandatory exam, which means the students have to take the exam if that box is ticked. And we're going to put some standard reset information in here. So highest mark, we're not going to put a supplemental in. And it's going to be the next exam reset period. And number of attempts is in the academic year, and our number of attempts is 3. For exams, we have this scheduling options. We have to click on schedule activity. Otherwise, when we create the activity manager records, it won't actually create a record for the exam. Okay, we've got additional information here we can put in, but we don't need to put that in really. That will be captured elsewhere. So I'm going to click on save now. Okay, so that's my record save. And I've got 2 exams, exam 1, which is down to be in autumn, and exam 2 here, which is down to be in spring. And now we're going to generate the manager records for this activity registry record. So I'm going into batch activity generator. I've covered this in previous videos, so I've already kind of set up the standard config. So generate institution UON, session, and I've put the term in 3170 in which I want to create these manager records, so 2017. Now this is where we get to the interesting bit. We have to attach academic periods to the exams that we want to be applied to our exams when those exams are going to run. And at the moment, I have got an autumn exam and a spring exam. Now, normally this box here is ticked, in which case we'll come to that. But if you've only got one exam running in one period, we don't need to go through this bit. But I'm going to look at this now just so you can understand how exam type is used to attach an exam to an exam period. Okay, so I've selected my exam type autumn, which I've attached to my, we go back to here. Exam 1 has got exam type of autumn, yeah? So this is how we link the period through the exam type to that particular exam. So I say for exam type autumn, session is full year UK. That's because the session comes from the course catalogue. It's not when the exam runs, it's just the session from the course catalogue. Then we attach the exam period that we want to use. So we go into here. Exam periods are by, academic periods, sorry, are by campus. So this one's going to run in autumn 2017. So I want to pick this one here, autumn 2017. Okay, I've done this the other way around. Let me just get rid of that. Now let's get rid of all of these and I'll redo it. Let's get rid of that and rid of that. So, autumn 2017 UK regular autumn exam. Now I need to do the same for my other exam, which is going to run in spring. So I'm going to select the spring exam type, which links it back to that exam in the registry record. It's full year UK, and I'll go into the academic period. Put a P in. Oh no, it's not a P, is it? I'm going mad, it's a U. Bring up our UK exams. So I want regular spring 2017, and there that is. Okay, so I've saved that. Now we need to put reset periods in for our reset exams if resets are needed. And again, I do this with both of our exam types, so the reset period is attached to both exams. So autumn, and where is it? Full year UK. Okay, and it's UK reset 1, which is the standard reset period at the end of the spring term, sort of August time. Then I'm going to attach another row because I need to put the same reset information on for the spring exam. Okay, and I'm going to use the same exam period, so I'm going to copy that as well, and I'm going to identify right, fix that. Let's start that again. So I've got a reset period attached to each of the exam types, which links back to our exams, and a standard exam period attached to each of our exam types. Okay, I've chosen my query, which is this one here. Edit my prompts, so I've put my course ID and my offer number in. So now I'm going to run that, and then let's just make sure it picks up the course. Yep, so I can click on preview and I can see that that course is going to be included in this batch process. So now I've done that, I'm going to save it and now run. Click on run, click OK, and that process is up and running. And let's go and see how we're doing. Okay, let's click on refresh. I'm going to pause you now till we get to the exciting bit when it tells us what it's done. Hooray! We can see that it has been successful, and in theory, not necessarily, that it's created the Activity Manager record. So now we need to go and look for those in the Activity Manager page. So let's copy the course ID, Activity Manager. This is the term that we created it in. And actually, I've put my course ID in OK already. Now, let's see if it's lying or whether it's created the record. And yes, it's been successful and it's created the record, and we can see it here. Okay, so let's run through this. So we've got exam 1, exam 2, then we've got the resit exam for exam 1 and resit exam for exam 2. So the reason we create the resit records now is so they're available, so we can use them if a student does need to do the resit when we've got the student IM record created. And we can also add configuration information to these resit exams now. Okay, so the next thing to note is we have these exam sections. So for each exam, we have one exam section. The point of the sections relates to scheduling. So let's say we've got one exam, but it actually runs at 3 different times, or even in 3 different locations. Because there are too many students to do it in one go. Then we could add in multiple sections into here if we want to, and add scheduling information. Now we're not going to use that functionality because that's all going to be managed in Exam Scheduler, which is our exam timetabling system. So we're just going to have one section, but it's just something that's delivered with the system. And the exam section is where we put the marks. Okay, so we don't put in the IM, we don't put the marks against exam 1, we put it against the exam section. Now, a record has been created for each one of these. Now, if we look at the sort of parent exam record, we can see the standard information that we've created in the registry. We can also see the exam period that we added in the batch. And we can see that down here. Now, obviously, if we want to change this at this point, so we created all these exams, let's say for all the modules, all the courses, by using this sort of standard configuration of exam period for exams, and we want to change the exam period, the academic period for some of them, then we can go into this record and do that. We can also change things like duration and other requirements at this point, including reset options. Okay, generally we're not going to do that. Any changes should always be done in the registry record. So really in the manager, we could change the exam period, that's fine. If for an assessment, a coursework, we could change. We will add in the due date, but we're not really going to do much more than that, mainly for auditing purposes. Well, possibly we could add in reset information if it wasn't available when we created the Activity Manager records. Okay, so let's return from that. Let's look at an exam section. Okay, so here we can see similar information, but we've got additional scheduling details here that we can use. We're not going to use because it's not part of our configuration, but if we want to, we can put that information in here. Okay, so let's return out of that. And then we've got the same sections that have been set up here for the resit periods. So that has taken us from creating the Activity Registry record through to creating the manager records, Activity Manager records for a particular term. So we're going to stop this now, and there's going to be a second video that will go through exams, managing exams in the individual Activity Manager student record. Okay.